Hello, everybody, and welcome to my WWE Backlash Predictions show. So, Backlash is obviously the follow-up show to WrestleMania, which is the biggest show of the year for the WWE. So, something that they love doing is establishing new champions. For example, let's say you have a new United States champion. You want to make sure that U.S. champion looks good on this show. Now, obviously, Logan Paul is the U.S. champion, so he's not going to be competing on this show. But we do have 5 matches that are on this show that we're going to be looking at, including the main event, presumably, which is Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles, the Kabuki Warriors versus Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, the Bloodline versus Kevin Owens and Randy Orton, a triple threat match for the women's title featuring Bayley, Tiffany, Stratton, and Naomi, and Jey Uso challenging Damien Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship. This is an interesting card, as there's not a lot of matches where some of the matches that you might see in a Vince-booked show would be on this episode of SmackDown, which is taking place in the same city in France, Lyon, Paris or something. I don't know what the very second part is. I know it's Lyon something, but that city is where the rest of the matches, like the tag title match, is taking place. That is a complaint I do have with this show, because Triple H, in his booking, has figured, I have a 5-match card. This show is going to be about 3 hours long. Not every match needs to be 20-plus minutes, Trips. You can have 10-minute matches. That's perfectly fine. For example, my father and I were discussing this one. The main event of this show does not need to be 45 minutes. It does not need to be 30 minutes. It does not need to be 20 minutes. It needs to be about 17 minutes. You can put on a great match, establish Cody as champion. Bit of a spoiler there, but we'll get to that in due time. First up, we're going to be looking at Jey Uso. It's just me, Us, challenging Damien Priest for the World Heavyweight title. This is probably the least pickable match on the show, just because of how they want to book Jey Uso, because at the same time, Jey needs some momentum because he doesn't have that much. He just is popular, loses. Is popular, loses, and can't win those world titles. But at the same time, do you really want both your world champions being baby faces? Kind of throws the dynamic off just a little bit. So I predict Damien Priest to win this match. I don't think that Jey, not is world championship material. This just isn't the right moment. I could see him winning this belt at SummerSlam, or maybe a little bit after that, but not right now, not after a bad match at WrestleMania, a couple decent showings over the course of the past couple weeks. Just nothing notable for me to be like, oh yeah, he's world champion material. His promos are good, and his segment on last episode of Raw was good, but I don't think it's world title worthy. Next, we're going to be looking at the women's world title triple threat, which is an interesting one, because who's getting pinned is a big question in this match. You have Tiffany Stratton, an up-and-coming heel who's pretty good, being an NXT call-up. And then you have Naomi, a long-tenured babyface who's friends with the champion, Bayley, who's also a long-tenured babyface. Do you sow seeds of dissension between the babyfaces? Do you have a babyface pin a babyface? Do you have Tiffany take the pin for 2 veterans that are probably going to retire in the next 7 years, even though she's probably going to wrestle for the next 15? Who really knows? I do think Bayley is going to retain in this match, and I think Triple H, he loves his NXT kids. I do think he's going to have Tiffany getting pinned. I don't agree with it. I don't think that she should be pinned. I think she should have a really good showing in the match if she's going to be pinned. But Bayley does need to win. As I said, this is an establishment show. It's saying, look at our champions. They're really good. They can beat formidable challengers. For example, Naomi and Tiffany are 2 valid challengers for Bayley's world title. Next, we're going to be looking at the Bloodline, Us, taking on Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. This match is going to feature a debut, which we will get to in a little bit. But Bloodline, this is the new Bloodline, as I call them, NWO for life. And I think they need a win. And I think they're going to win. They're going to pin Kevin, probably, because the new Bloodline, they're 2 guys. It's Tama Tonga and Solo Sikoa. And they're relatively new to the scene, at least in WWE, haven't done much in their WWE careers, especially Tama Tonga, who's been doing work outside of the WWE. They really need this win, because if Kevin and Randy win, it makes the new Bloodline, I should say, look like idiots, and it makes Kevin and Randy kind of just bury the 2 younger guys. Actually, how old is Tama Tonga? I don't even know if he's a younger guy. Let's see. Tama Tonga Beach. So, for reference, wow, never mind. Actually, Kevin Owens is younger than Tama Tonga, so my point is no longer true. You get my point. As a WWE star, Kevin is longer tenured. So, Bloodline win. I do think it's going to look like Randy and Kevin are about to win. Kevin's just hit the stunner on Solo, let's say, and he's about to get the pin. 1, 2. Another guy in a black hoodie runs up, pulls the ref out of the ring. It's Jacob Fatu from the Indies. He signed a couple of weeks, I think it was just last week even, and was set to debut within this week. And this week hits right at the end of Backlash. Like, that's the week after he got signed, so he's probably going to end up debuting then. I don't think they want to do it on SmackDown. I think they want to withhold it to the pay-per-view. Makes the most sense to me. Go new Bloodline. NWO for life. Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill are going to absolutely murder the Kabuki Warriors. I don't think there's really much of a question about that. I think, hey, we need to establish the women's tag titles. Let's put them on one of the best wrestlers in WWE history in the women's division, and a new up-and-comer who doesn't know that much about working in ring, but is still pretty solid for the little work she's done, rather than Asuka and Kairi. Not to discount them, but at the same time, they're two valid veterans. Put the titles on the younger guys. I feel now in 2024 into 2025 is going to be a kind of changing of the guard, per se. I think we're going to see people like AJ, Randy, Asuka, Bayley, Becky. I think they're going to start to get phased out. I don't think they're going to wrestle as much anymore, and we're going to get onto the new generation of performers. Not that new generation. That one was really bad. But we're going to see people like Braun Breaker take a big helm. We're going to see people like Ilya Dragunov take a big lead. And Tiffany Stratton, if we go back a few matches. They're all young talent who are going to be the new faces of the men's and women's divisions, respectively, come 2025-26. So I think this is a good time to start doing that with Jade and Bianca getting the win over Asuka and Kairi. Then we have, again, the presumable main event. We don't actually know yet, where we see Cody Rhodes, taking on the phenomenal AJ Styles for the undisputed WWE Championship. Back to my point about old timers or legends getting phased out at this point, AJ and Cody aren't that far off in age. I mean, I think AJ's about, 46 maybe. Yep, he's exactly 46. I think Cody's about 39, 38 or so. So they're not that far off technically, but at the same time, give him, 38. That's how old Cody is. So, give Cody the world title. Obviously, we've already done that. But give him some big wins to say, like, oh, wow, this guy's going to lead us for a couple years and then probably retire about the same time that AJ is going to retire. So I expect Cody to be working for this business for about 8 more years, maybe a little more, a little less. And I think he'll be a multi-time world champion, but with the one he's already got now, he needs to start getting those title defenses in and hold this belt until somewhere around September of this year. I don't think he needs a Roman reign. Tribal chief. But I don't think he needs the longest reign known to man, as we are aware of with Roman and Bruno Sammartino. I think he needs a definitive reign, maybe like 6 months, 5 months, and then you can put it on a heel, put it back on a babyface. Make the babyface champ for a couple months, put it on a heel for a couple months. Pretty simple concept, but at the same time, I don't think it's really been working that well because we've just seen Roman been champ for so long. People kind of forgotten how world titles work in at least the WWE. So those are my predictions for the show. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let's quickly run through them one last time. We have Cody Rhodes retaining the undisputed world title over AJ Styles, new women's tag team champions in Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, the new Bloodline NWO for life, beating Randy Orton and Kevin Owens with the debut of Jacob Fatu, Bayley retaining her world title in a triple threat match, and Jey Uso losing to Damien Priest, who retains his world title for the world heavyweight title. As I was saying, do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know down in the comments down below. Make sure you have a good day, good evening, good night, good morning, good dawn, good dusk, good whatever. Make sure to watch any former or future episodes of this channel, and goodbye.